right, let's get into it. Welcome. I hope everyone's going well tonight. We're continuing on with oops, where's my... There we go. All right, we're continuing on with Welk tonight. The idea is I kind of want to finish the number import and so forth like that. I do believe I did a release last Friday. So, worst case scenario, we finish off the number stuff. I can still, continue on with doing the NearBeach stuff. It just means that the number input will look a bit weird. But that's not a problem. We're going to get to it. So, let's just jump straight into it. So, we were up to about here last time. And we were going to fix the apply increment and so forth like that and figure out how we're going to handle that. The idea being is if someone couldn't see the apply increment, we need the keyboard to tell them this button is disabled for this particular reason. We just need to fix that one up again. In reality, we'll keep it like that. And we got the ARIA label. All right, that's the decrement currently of that and that and that. That is something we might want to translate. So that's definitely something we're going to put in as a bug. Let me just key that in right now. Alright, issues. We don't have too many issues. This would be the number input. Increment / decrement only as English. So I'm going to copy this little bit of code right here as an example. Oh. There we go, perfect. As per the code above, the ARIA label is currently hard-coded as English. We should implement the ability to pass through a translated string. And that's something we can do with the Vue I18N or Vue internationalization. If we just hit getting started, I forgot where it is in here. I know it can be done. That's all I know. It's something where I've got to reread this documentation, just give it a quick scan, and I'll be like, oh, yep, that's how you do it. You'll need to read the Vue finalization library to find out interpolation. We need to read the Vue internationalization library to find the string interpolation and apply this at the component level. All right, cool. This will be normal. It'll be submitted. It'll be definitely assigned to me. I'm just gonna go internationalization on here. Oops, because you know the rules about stepping on my mouse. Come here. There we go. Say hi to everyone. And we're just going to create it. All right, sweet. So we've got the bug in there. All right. Another issue which we have is we're not applying the increment or the decrement at the moment. And we've just hit our first ad break. For those on YouTube wondering what's actually happening, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch. That's just to stop the pre-rolled ads because the pre-rolled ads just absolutely suck. You get to see me and a bit of Socks whilst we sort of do this so no one misses out on any content. Say hi, Socks. I'm just staring deeply into their soul, aren't you? So yeah, we've got about a minute left. Yeah, I understand ads are annoying. However, this is better than the alternative where you jump on a channel and they've just got ads straight away. So yeah, I don't like that. So yeah, about 45 seconds left. And then yeah, we'll continue. So yeah, hopefully this won't take too long. I do know... Yeah, just wait. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a thought about, I do know that there is something I want to do. All right. So, okay. Let's jump straight back into it. Welcome back, everyone. All right. So one thing I want to do is I also want to disable these buttons. Once we actually hit the limit. The ability... yeah, I just want these to be disabled. That way it really tells the user that they can't change it any further. At the same time... I'm trying to think if I need to show a warning or anything like that. And I'm thinking probably not. So, yeah. We'll get back to the disabled, but what we can do is we can go up here. We've got the error message value. I'm most likely not going to use that. We've got the is max value. Nothing to do if we reach the max value. Socks, can you not set my stuff in? How are we now doing this? Because we're no longer passing through any of that. We're passing through validation rules. So we've got a ref for the rules. We've got rules in here. I'm just wondering if... Oh, sorry, we go. Alright, what I'm going to do, I'm going to comment out the code again. I'm going to go console log ref rules. I just want to see how this is built. Alright, easy done. So that's the increment. We're going to bring up this. I'm going to bump that off to the left so you guys can see. We're just going to delete everything. I'm just going to hit the increment button. So as you can see, we've got one of these. It's just a plain old object. So we've got raw object, validation rules. We've actually got some rules coming through. We've got the function rule value. We've got the minimum value with the symbol, and that's about it for this one. And that's perfectly fine. From here, I need to go, let's go to the local app. Let's scroll up. So we've got the minimum value. We've got the max value. That works at the moment. So if I go -10, the min value will pop up. But if I do 1, it'll do that. I need to get the values out of those. So if we have a look at this, we can probably... grab those out. As the show is required. That's another compost. I keep forgetting what they're called. Not forgetting, I keep getting components and compostables mixed up. This is use validation. Oops, on the wrong side. I'll just bring that over. So we've got all of this in here. That's all fine and dandy. And then in here, we've got the validation rules. All right, cool. So we've got the min value rule equals all of that. The rule type equals that. All right. So what I want to do is I want to pull out the min value and the max value from here when we put it through, but we don't know if it's been passed down because this could be empty. So what I could do, so I could look at just the validation rules too. I'm just going to go over here. I'm just going to, delete everything from the console. I'm just going to hit up on here. Ah, hang on. Sorry, I did type props. Easy mistake. I make them all the time. All right, so we do actually have an array in here. It might be easier to get it through this method. And then we do actually have the symbol. So if I go store like that and I go temp0 dot, this is, just thinking what would be the better solution. We can always filter. Oops. Oh, what happened to YouTube? I don't know what happened with YouTube then. It just went funky. So if we go row such that row dot underscore type equals, and this is where we'll have symbol. I don't think it will be like that. Yeah. Oh. Oh, it's grabbed out both of them though. All right, not a problem. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go a equals temp0, and I'm just grabbing the first one. And then from here, I've got it like that. Oh, sorry. Oops. A dot underscore type. All right. I don't know if this will work. So if I go temp0 dot filter and we just go row such that row dot this will be underscore type equals, and then we go symbol, and then we go min imum value. Well, let's grab both of them.
But why both minimum values? The plot thickens. I've done something wrong. All right. So we got max value here. I think I know what I've done wrong. Oh no, we've got minimum value there.
Ah, all right, easy done. That's been fixed up. We've got maximum value. We've got email, and that's wrong. We've got pattern. We've got maximum value, maximum length. I just hadn't updated these. Minimum value, minimum length required. All right. Oh, the dog. All right, I can move him. It's been a little while. We'll shrink him. No, I'll just hide the hat. There we go. All right, welcome, HIV version 001. Yeah, so I'm just building up Welk. So it's a component library that we'll be using in NearBeach. So NearBeach is the fun product. It's an open source project management system currently out in 0.31. However, we've decided to do a massive refactoring, and I mean massive refactoring, where we're essentially just redoing quite a lot of the code and removing a lot of the technical debt. So yeah, we're just building up this component library because we want to use this in a different project once we get 0.32 out the door. So yeah. And I'm just implementing the sort of basics for validation. So users don't need to roll their own. If they're using Welk, they can actually use Welk's inbuilt one. Okay, so if I redo this, I'm going to hit this. So now if we do store as global variable, we've got both in there. We can always check to see if something's in there. So what we can do is we can do a sum where the row dot type equals a symbol of, let's say maximum, what do we call it? Maximum something, maximum value. Like that. So we're like, all right, cool. It does exist. So if we then get that, if I go over, if I do that, we've got A. Oh, now it's, but we're not getting the value out of it, which,
All right, so this might not work how we want it to. That's not a problem.
That's where we're like, all right, cool, that's not going to work for us. So we go back to the original plan. Let's have a look at this. Just going to click on this. It's a component library. So it's built using Vue. So think text inputs, drop downs, and all that kind of fun stuff. The idea is we put it all in one spot. We get it behaving in a specific way. So it's all consistent. We style it consistently, and then we can import that into NearBeach. And when we want to import it into our next project, we can. Yeah. All right, in here, we've got that. We've got the raw objects. So number input, yada, yada, yada. Yep, all right, that's okay. We've got the validation rules. Yeah, I don't see how we're getting that, but not a problem. Let's find out how we do it when we use the use validation. If I can speak. So when we use the validation, we go in here, we've got the error message, nothing. So we've got rules.value. think I've got an idea how to actually get what we want. So passing through all the rules. Okay, if I go rule ref in here, so passing it through as ref rules into here, and I'll just go dot value like that. Let's actually have a look. Let's just remove all of that. Let's just do that. So yeah, we've got the two values in there. One will be the maximum value, one will be the minimum value. But then I'm passing. Okay, I see what I'm doing. The values will be coming from here. So I just need to see if I can get those. I mean, worst case scenario, what I can do is I can do the increment and decrement, and then if something goes past the minimum value, it pops up with an error and all that kind of stuff. I can still do that as a fallback. But I just want to make it so that if people do that, it disables or it stops there, or if they've got a step count that goes past that value, at least truncates at that value. So yeah, I'm just wondering. Yes, sucks. And then we've got we've got the rules in here. So we've got the const rules. There's the function that we get the stuff. And we pass through a value. I'm wondering if I could. I'm just wondering if I can write something else in here, as in like the max value. So we can go rule dot, just like that. Now it's going to throw up an error. That's going to be because it's we need to edit this. I'm just going to do that very, very quickly. That's not set in stone. This is just to test this out. So if I clear that and I do something like that, we've got that. We've now got the rule. So that's the minimum one. Here's the maximum one. And there's our value. All right. The input type number is type element. What? It's just a normal HTML type of thing. That's just normal HTML. So the plan of attack is to actually store the value kind of want. So we've got max value, we've got min value. Now those aren't going to be used anywhere else. This might not be used anywhere else. If we have a quick look at the the rules, we can quickly determine if we need to include any other details. So we've got required. No, we don't need any details to be saved. We've got min, min length, min value. All right, we're using min and max in two different places. I don't foresee us using regex or trying to get to the regex. So if we go in here, I think we can get away with min value and max value like that. I think that's going to work for us. And that way in here, where's our, so we've got min in here. So what we can do is we can go rule dot min value equals just the min, easy done. Down here, we can do the same thing. We can go rule dot, this is min value equals min. We're all happy with that. So we've got the max value there. Oops, sorry. This should be rule dot max value equals max. All right. So that will work. So we can now extract that information out when we're in here. So if someone were to apply increment, we could check to see if max value is set. That will be if, and that will be the rules ref dot sum. We're looking for our type equals. And this is where I've got to import the type. I'm just going to grab that. And we're going to add in some code later for it. Now the sum is not wanting to work because I need dot value. There we go. So we're going to see if the maximum rule exists, if the user has keyed it in, if they're in this level. If they haven't put in max value in here, the sum's going to return false. Wrong, but I think you had max in your min code. Possibly. Let's have a quick look. That wouldn't surprise me. So, required rule, required min length, minimum length. We've got minimum value, minimum valuable, maximum length, maximum, maximum. All right, cool. I'm happy with that. Let's double check in here. We've got min length, min. We've got min. Max. All right, and I'll double check the second min. All right, yep, it's all fine. So when we're applying an increment, we got to check to see if that's there. And what I want to do is I want to set a default. We did do this before. We don't want to increment past the max value, so we define a local increment. All right, yep. Now we used to have And hello, Joker Phoenix. How are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Welcome, welcome. So I'm just trying to think at the moment. I know there was a isMax dot value. Yeah, we had a function in here called isMax, and we got rid of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double check what we were doing in there. All right, I can go back to this commit. Local increment equals step, yep. The reason why I'm not using step is just because I'll have local increment and local decrement, and that's it. Just to say which way I'm going up or down. And that's something I can have a look at. I can pass through whether or not something's going up and down through just a simple boolean, and then deal with it that way. You're doing good? Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, I can't complain, just tired. So I'm glad the weekend's here. So, yeah. All right, what I want to do is I want to view the source. Oh. Browse files, there we go. We want to go into source. We want to go into components. This will be number input. I'm just double checking isMax. Okay. I mean, and then the max value actually had a, yeah, all right. Cool. So that's how that was all done. So what I want to do, max value equals, actually, we've got to filter out of this. It'll be easy. It'll be rules ref dot value dot filter. It'll be row such that row underscore type equals maximum value. And then we grab the first one. Dot. And we go max value. Now we know it's going to be there because we've done a check up here. Now this is complaining. I mean, in reality, no, it doesn't like that. All right, that'll be fine. I'm just thinking this can actually be shoved into a computed component because I'm going to be reusing this. Very similar to, where is it? Where is it? Very similar to this. Yeah, all right, I'm going to do that. gonna so this would be const max is max. Yeah, we just had it is max and then computed all like that. So in this sort of case, what we want to do is pretty much just copy those lines, really. We just want to, you know, cut those out, put those in there. There's our max value. And then all we need to do is we just got to return where our model value, so model.value is greater or equal to the max value here. And that's it. So define the max value. So by default, the max value will be this. Otherwise, you know, it'll actually grab it out of the rule set. Those rule sets will be rather small. So I'm not too worried about that conditioning there. Now I realize that we are on an add. Oops, wrong one. So yeah, we are getting there. I've just got to think how I want this all implemented. I think doing it like that with the computer is going to be great because then I can use that to actually put a condition on the plus button itself to be like, hey, this is at max. Don't allow people to click on this. Yeah, I think that will be good. And then later on, we can have a look at it to see if we can make that more efficient. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully everyone's going well tonight. We have Socks here today. She's only stood on the keyboard and mouse once during the stream, which is nice. And I don't think she actually sat or did anything on my keyboard at work today, which is nice. You know, it's very rare that Socks doesn't sit on my keyboard or mouse. So yeah, I have decided I'm going to keep this in here like this. We're going to go is min also. So we're going to go define the min value. We're just going to go let min value equal number. Minimum safe integer, easy done. Pretty much it's very similar to all of this. We just need to go minimum value. We just need to go down here. I'm just going to go to the very end, delete before. That will be min value like that. If we go all the way to the start, we just need to go min value. And then we just go return model.value is less than or equal to the min value. Cheers. Thank you very much, Joker. Yeah, she is. She does cause a lot of trouble though. So, yeah. Essentially, now that we've got it like this, I'm just wondering, we just need to get rid of the error message. Oh, all right. So we got is max value. Yeah, we don't want it to increment past the max value, so we define a local increment. Yep, that's fine. So this is no longer going to be that. Okay, not a problem. Not a problem at all. We can move this out of there. So we can go const max value equals computed, all that kind of fun stuff. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that will be 6 lines there. We're just going to paste that into there. I'm going to do the same with the min. like that. Now I'm just wondering if I can get away with that one little line. Because if it comes back undefined, we'll pick the min value. I mean, we can really shrink this down. And what I mean is, if I get rid of all of that, and let's just paste this in. Let's go delete at the end. We'll go return. The min value up here becomes number.min safe integer, like so. We just get rid of all of this. And that becomes that. It's in one simple line. If this comes back as undefined, it'll fall back onto this. And then I think what we can do, we can explicitly set the type. All right. So now that we've got that one, what we can do is this one then just becomes like that. And this one becomes like that. So we've really shrunk these down. They're mostly readable. I might add in a little comment. So, grab the max value from the rule if it exists. Defaults to max safe integer. All right, cool. Oh, sorry, I was meant to go there. Grab the min value from the rule if it exists. Defaults to min safe integer. And I can't spell. All right, so I'm happy with that now. We're going to scroll down here. We no longer need these props because it's just going to be max value.value. All right, so that's handling everything like we were before. That's just a simple math sort of thing. So what we're going is we've got the max value, we've got the model value, we're making sure we get the absolute solution. So that's always going to be positive. And Nocturnal, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Well, Mom. How are things going? And usually that increment is huge. However, if it is smaller than the increment we have said, we're only going to increment the smaller amount. Oops, I forgot to put value. There we go, delete and, oh, whoa, too keen. In fact, so keen that I get min value. All right. And then essentially we're doing the same stuff up here. We don't need to worry about the error message anymore because once it reaches the lowest number, that's perfectly fine. What do you mean, HIE? You're okay, got the day off, so getting some jobs done around the house. Nice. That's good to hear. Yeah, just been busy. Busy with everything at the moment, so yeah. Alright, so we've got min value here, min value dot value. We've got max value dot value. Oops. Max value dot value. And that's pretty much it. Now, what we can do with the buttons is we can go actually, so we could just do ismin on that. And is max on that. So the idea is when it's minimum, it stops there. It's pronounced high EV. Oh, okay, yep, fair enough. Short for high evolutionary from. All right, fair enough. So I'm terrible with new names and so forth like that. So yeah, I do apologize. All right, we're going to go over into here. We're just going to hit reset just to clear everything. So that's not working, but the plus did. I'm just going to refresh that again. Went straight up to 10. I'm just double checking what I've put in here. All right. I've screwed up somewhere. So I'm just going to refresh everything. We're just going to have a look at what everything's set at in the view inspector. So we don't want the select, we want to break open the form group. We've got not the, sorry, we want the welk number input there. All right, so step increments should be 1. And RW Grim, how are you going? How have you been? How was your stream? Hopefully you're going well. Welcome everyone. Yeah, all right. So my name's Robotic Head. I'm currently building an open source project management system. Today we're working on Welk UI, which is going to be the component library going to be used for NearBeach moving forward. We've decided to roll our own because why not? It can't be that hard. Famous last words. Yeah. So yeah. Good, but up way too late. Fair enough. Now I think not this week, not next week, but the week after we finish our daylight saving. So I'm actually going to be streaming an hour earlier because we shift our clocks back by 1 hour. So yeah, I'll be even earlier next time. So yeah. All right, welcome everyone. So yeah, we're just building up the components very slowly. So we've got a simple drop down, as you can see. I've done some styling on it and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm currently working on the number input. Once I get the number input working again, we'll move back onto NearBeach where we'll implement this and we'll hope for the best. So yeah, 2:30 instead of 3:30 then, yep. You already did your daylight savings. Yes. So yeah, you got moved forward. So I would have already become a little bit earlier for you. So yeah. Yeah. All right. Looks like everyone's. I know it's a Sunday that it gets taken off, but it's not this Sunday. It's the first Sunday in April for Victoria. So yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. We have a bug at the moment. These increments are meant to increment up by 1, but if I click that, as you can see, it just boom, like that. causes havoc with my meetings. Yeah, fair enough. It would be 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, when I was in Korea. So I was there in Korea. Daylight savings hadn't started yet for Australians, well, Victorians. So the time difference was only 1 hour. So I just had to start work at 8 o'clock, and that only lasted a week. And then all of a sudden, I completely and utterly forgot we had daylight savings start. So all of a sudden, I had to start at 7 a.m. However, it worked a treat, because I started at 7 a.m., finished around about 3:30, and then I was out the door by 4 doing tourist stuff. Highly recommend it. I thoroughly enjoyed. I think I was there for a little while. Not long. Not too long. Alright, so what I'm looking for is the reason why this is doing this. I think I'm doing a little bit of a boo-boo, and I think that might be a string, and I'm adding a 1 to it or something like that. Silly. So let's have a look. So in here, we've got the setup, we've got all of that, we've got the template rest, we've got the model. That's on the wrong thing. We've got them in here. I'm just going to cancel that. We've got the validation rules. We've got the step increment as a 1. We've got all of that. Where's our lovely model? Model value equals a 0. Okay. If I... Okay, I've mucked up somewhere. I've definitely mucked up somewhere. So if applying increment is max value, that just returns a true or false. That will be false. I've got to double check the min is min. So is max is that. Is min is where that is. Yep, all right, cool. That's covering it. Increment. So, I should do it like this. There we go. That's a lot easier to read. Let update value equal the model.value minus the increment. And then if the update value is greater... Oh, that's it. All right, we're focusing on this one. Sorry. Once again, I'm just going to do this. So update value, so model value plus the increment. If the update value is less than the minimum value. So just in case the minimum it gets beyond below the minimum value, and we add an increment to it, but the minimum value is up here, we want to just skyrocket that up straight up to the minimum value, no matter what. Apply the incrementation, make sure it's not lower than the minimum value. That's it. We make that the minimum value, otherwise we do the update value. Oh, I like that. It's even simpler. Because I can go math.max. So you're saying the minimum value first. So min value.value. I need a new keyboard. The escape key is breaking on this one. And then that just gets rid of that. And then it actually gets rid of this too. I like that. Yeah. Cheers. Thank you very much. Hi, Eve. Evie, sorry. Hi, Evie. In this case, no, we want the max. This is one of those weird edge cases. So I'll explain it on a timeline. So let's say you've got yourself... Hang on. No, where did my little... There we go. Just reset the whole canvas. There we go. All right. Struggle Town. Let's say you got a line like this. Let's say you got the min value here. You've got your max value over here. I'm realizing that's going off the screen. But your value, somehow your user got the value down here. And let's say you're incrementing just this little tiny bit. What that will do is that will slingshot it straight up to the min value. So yeah, we want the maximum out of this. So yeah, that's an edge case situation. So yeah, and that's handling the increment, so the increment doesn't go past the maximum value. That's perfectly fine. We can then apply that there too, but this will be the minimum value. Hang on. Screwing up. No, I'm not screwing up. Don't worry. That will be model.value. And we're looking for the max value. Yeah, this will be math.min. So if it goes past the max value .value, we want to truncate it. We can then get rid of all of that, and that just makes all the code a little bit neater. That's perfectly fine. I'm not going to blame you on this particular thing, because this is one of those very far out edge cases where you are adding a min to the, you're getting the min for the max value, and you're currently decrementing in this particular line. So yeah. All right. We can clean that code up. We can get rid of that. Are we not using... All right, so we've got minimum value. I just spotted a mistake. Rules, views, row type, minimum value, minimum. All right, cool. I fixed that one up. All right, going back into here, we're just going to hit refresh. All right, and that's it. And Sandy Lee, how are you going? How have you been? What is it written in? This is Vue. So this is using the, I keep forgetting what the new API, I think it's the compositional API. Yes, the compositional API. So yeah. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, I screw up all the time. You'll see me write bugs in my code all the time. Alright, so that's perfectly fine. Use validation. Yeah, I've got to fix this up. But for the moment, this will be... that. All right. And I think this is going to work for how we want it to. I'm not styling it up too much tonight. Just because I've only just picked the colors I kind of want to play around with. Yeah, it's... I've got to rethink how I'm doing the colors. So a lot of... If you notice down here, you'll see... Not that one. You'll see border radius, border width, and all that kind of stuff. And then you got something like that with the focus. And I'm kind of like, I want more flexibility. So yeah, I'm currently going to redo all the coloring and so forth like that, and give the ability for people to pass through, whether it's primary, secondary, or tertiary, and have those colors change. TypeScript, yes, yeah. So VueJS with TypeScript. Yeah. You're not a fan of the plus and the negative buttons being on the opposite sides of the input. They should be together. I kind of like them like that. I don't know why. Are you using... Don't really know the... Okay, fair enough. Number naive UI number input. I did have a look at a bunch of other component libraries and stuff like that. No, not number animation, sorry. I mean, yeah, you've got that. That is a design. I kind of like them spread on either side. Yeah. It's something, this is early days. It's something, I'll put it out there, see if anyone likes it. If no one likes it, putting them like this is very easy to do. Yeah. The idea is, with a number input, you don't have the number input that large. Like if I put that on the right, you wouldn't have that large. You would cut it down. You'll cut it down like something like that. Yeah, too much mouse movement, but you can also use your keyboard. And you can type stuff in. Now, I did want to npm run test unit. Npm run test unit. I did it again. Alright, we do have one thing failing. Annoying, I know. Not a problem. Easy to fix. But I should have had... I'm just wondering if I've got the tests still in the code. Alright, source, components, number input. No, I didn't. Alright. But that's not a problem. I know I've got some tests that I can key in and so forth like that. So, yeah. As a counter to too much mouth movement, having them separate might be better for people using low accuracy input devices. Yeah, that's that too. And I'm also thinking about mobile phone, where you can be like, ba 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 ba. Alright, yeah. Alright. We're only failing one test, which is good. But I'm wondering why my tests for the number input won't pass through. Did I not? I mustn't have copied them over. Give me 2 seconds. This would be the NearBeach mockup. Where in it? It'll be on the sites. NearBeach. It'll be the new design mockup, source, components. This would be, oh God. I'm glad I organized this better. Oh, was it something else? There's a view test bed, number picker test. There we go. And if I copy that and I paste it in here, and now we're failing to test. Yeah. All right. The options one we can quickly fix. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm going to close that. I'm going to close that. I'm going to close that. We'll keep that one open, but we'll put it there. So number picker spec, that one's... I think the vast majority of these tests will be okay. We might need to do a little change. I might need to change the labels. Sorry, these in here. I might need to put them in descriptions and group them up, but not too worried about that at the moment. That's all right, we got it. All right, I'm just going to clearly use Mac shortcut keys. All right, just going to do that for a moment. We've still got some files. That's perfectly fine. I'm just going to do that. We should have this opening up any second now. All right, it didn't. I was like, all right, let's try that again. There we go. Took its time. We're going to minimize everything. We're just going to have a look at just the fails. All right, so we've got the Welk select. That's broken. And expected. All right, cool. Welk select. Let's go to Welk. Let's go to source components. We'll get back to that. We've got the select. We've got the Welk select. I'm just going to bump this over here. We're going to have a look at what's wrong. So the idea is if something is required, which we're not passing through. Oh, all right. I'm pretty sure I'm still using it like this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm doing it like that. Actually, no, I'm not doing it like that anymore. Sorry. The validation has that. So I need a computed component that actually renders out that. Element OP, no, AZGFG, HI, yep, all right, cool. So we need is required equals computed. We just need to find out if the rule exists. So we just got to return. And this is where we'll use the rules ref dot value dot sum, and then we'll have the rule, and then we'll have the rule dot underscore type equals required rule, and that's it. Now we've got to import that Cool, that did it perfectly fine. We've got the is required now. Show is required. Oh, all right. Hang on. Oh, I've got it all there. Ah. I can get rid of that. Sweet. Oh, I understand this now. Okay, cool. This is part... I've got to update the test itself. Alright, so I'm just going to go into here. I'm just going to close everything else. Let's focus on this. So there's something wrong with the test now, because how we've now restructuring the requirements and so forth like that, we can sort of change. We have to change the tests. That's what I'm trying to say. So in here, what we can do, this is select component. Yep, this is part of a select. This is, which rule is this? I'm just going to renders required correctly. There it is, renders required correctly. So we go through, is required, no longer there. All right, what we need to do is we've got to pass through the validation rules. And it's just a simple array. And we're just going to go required. Now this, we've got to import required from validation rules.ts. Yep. Thank you, Socks, for the cleaning. Now, if we go back over here, we actually get... Alright, we get an annoying space. Alright. So, that could be put down to wherever... There's the tooltip, there's the label. It's technically this. And you see, that now passes that. Cool. Easy fix. All done. Don't think we're doing any other validation on this, so I'm going to say that is all fixed. And thank you very much, Juzzbot, for the follow. Welcome, welcome. Alright, now we've got to get the other fail done. That's part of the number picker. If we open up that, I'm just going to hit play again. Failed to import number picker. Alright, cool. Failed to import number picker. That's on the test itself. So we're going to go over here. We're going to go into the spec itself. We're not going to worry too much about everything. I'm going to redo those. Just because we want to make sure that that's correct. I think I can get rid of that. Now the number picker, yeah, all right, cool. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to go import. This would be the whelk number input from that. That's why it was broken. Now we just got to, oops. I'm going to cheat, you know, I'm just going to use my mouse. Now this is, these tests I wrote, it would have been last year. Back when I was first sort of trialing out how I wanted to set up these components and how I want to set up where the code goes, and so forth like that. All right, I will admit this now. I should have just done find and replace. I forgot how many tests I had for the number picker just because there was a lot of different edge cases and so forth like that with the number picker that I wanted it to work. Now, some of these tests may no longer be valid or they might need to be changed. So for example, I'm allowing people to key in a number that is definitely outside of the range. Control H, oops. Yeah, I've got the Vim bindings on this at the moment, so it doesn't let me Control H, which is very annoying. I can always go number picker, and I can go welk. Let's just write it out. Number input. There we go. Now, there's better ways of doing this nowadays. So if I go back into the select test, you'll see I've done two things. And Bell Zcor, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome, welcome. You can see I've described stuff and then I've done the tests into that. So I'm going to do the same sort of layout for that. So what we want to do, we want to write in describe. We're just going to go number picker. Easy done. We're just making sure it's async, just because we'll just do something like that. We're going to group these tests up like this. I'm just going to lint. There we go. And then what I want to do, we want to go number picker renders the correct label. Easy done. And we're using a wrapper instead of how I used to do it. So we're going to go wrapper equals mount. And in here, we'll just have number input, welk number input. I don't need any options. Yeah, I don't need any options. And then all I need to do is write the assertions. So we're going to expect the wrapper to contain or no, sorry, I do actually need information in here. Sorry, that was my bad. I need the props, the label to equal hello world. And then that will be hello world. Alright, and Scotty P, how are you going? And sup, my name is Tito. Welcome, welcome. Alright, we do need to import describe. No, I just added something to globals and I didn't want to do that. Yeah, piss off. Come on, let me import it. Sometimes you just got to do that. So we've got the label. If I open up the welk number input, we'll scroll up to the props. So I've done the label. I'm not too worried about any of these at the moment. We're not dealing with the validation or anything like that. How's it going? It's going okay. Yeah. It's been a bit tired lately, but otherwise I think I'm going well at the moment on the stream. So yeah, hopefully I'll push this very soon and we'll jump back onto NearBeach and we'll bring in the updated version of Welcome to NearBeach and fix everything we would have broken, which would have been pretty much everything. So yeah, well, just the front end. We're just broken just the front end. You can still use a part of the API. Expect wrapper to not to contain issues. I don't know why I'm putting that one in there. But yeah. So what I like to do, and this is just to test for silliness. This is just one of my little silly tests, is I replicate the same test. However, I change the label. And the idea is the correct new label is we'll have a not in here for the last one. And the idea is it confirms that it works because someone could just hard code that in as a label. Are you doing well? Currently working on finishing the CS50 Python class from Harvard. Really good class. Oh, nice. Oh, fair enough. So I think we've broken something. Also, another thing I want to do is, this is just me being pedantic. I want to match this name. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to rerun this. It's going to fail. That's perfectly fine. I'm happy with that. So in here, can't import that. Of course, we've got the wrong freaking file name up there because it didn't fill it out correctly, did it? There we go. All right, it's failed other things now, but that's perfectly fine. These are different fails. So yeah, when I put the describe in, we can break these down a little bit more. Render picker, cannot read properties of undefined min value. All right, so what I thought was smart isn't doing what it's just not doing it. So this is undefined, and I don't think I could do that. And I don't think this has a first. So what I've got to do, we can do this very, very easily. So I'm going to go const. We're going to have max rule in here. We're going to keep it like that. You might wonder, but why? Because then I can go return max rule equals undefined. I can then go, I'm just going to put that on another line. We'll remove that in a second. Number.max safe integer. Otherwise, it's going to be the max rule dot underscore max value. And I think that's what we've got to do. It's a little confusing, so I'm going to have to comment that. Grab the first max rule. If max rule exists, send back the max number. If not, default to max safe integer. There you go. One day I'll learn how to spell. So, and how did you go? I didn't beat Nightbot. Damn. For all those wondering what's actually happening, we got to defeat Nightbot. Exclamation point, drop, followed by your favorite emoji. I am going to do Grumpy Max because Nightbot keeps cheating. Alright, so... Oh... Hang on. Bear with me 1 second. Max rule underscore max value. But that could be undefined. But if I do... Oh, I need to get rid of this. Alright. I think that's a lot neater. A lot more human readable. So we're going to do the same thing here. Just going to delete that. I'm just going to go grab the first min rule. We're just going to go all the way to the start. We're going to delete beginning. All right, cool. We're just going to go all the way up to here. We're just going to do something like that, and then we're going to return. We're going to go in here and go const min rule equals this, and then we'll have min rule. Grab the first min rule, and then if min rule exists, send back the min number. If not, default to min safe integer. Alright, cool. Now, I actually have to put a question mark in there because it could be unknown, in which case, yeah, we want something in there like that. I think that's how I'm going to do it. Max rule, question mark, yep. Max value, yep, question, yeah, so if that's undefined, the question mark will mean it's undefined, meaning this will all be undefined, which means those two question marks should trigger and go, all right, give me that value. In theory. Now, why is this one broken? All right, expected to include hello world. All right, I've broken the test. That's perfectly fine. But we can see all of these rules are now starting to work. These are broken because I need to pass through values and stuff like that. Label in itself is now a required field. Because since doing these tests, I've changed how this is all going to work, which is why I did the mock-ups and so forth like that, to figure out exactly how I want to get this to sort of work. And clearly, I don't know how to spell because I wrote assertions wrong multiple times. There we go. So, what we now want to do is we want to describe. I can't even write describe. We're going to have number input, incrementation tests. Increment, yeah, we'll leave it as increment. We'll async that like that. We'll grab that. We'll go all the way down till we see... So yeah, I wrote a number of tests in here for this. There's so many. Ah, there I go. Paste that in. Wait. Thank you. We'll lint that. That's perfectly fine. What we're going to do, describe. number input. We're going to go decrementing. We want async, all of that fun stuff. We just want to go all the way down again. We're just going to find it. Cool, it's at the end of the thing. All right. So let's fix up a few things. I'm just going to grab these. It's going to be easier. All right. So we've got the incrementation count increases. All right. So good news is I was smart enough to do things properly. All right, so that's an empty props. We want something in there. That's perfectly fine. That test will now run. We've got to set a max value and the model value in here. So we're going to do that. We're then going to put in validation rules. And we're going to have max value. Now we had 10, if memory serves me correctly. And we're just going to import that. And we did have a model. Set as 9. All right, max value, model value. All right, cool. What I'm going to do is, that's pretty much this one. So we're just going to, and we're just going to do that. Increment by 5 units, so we've got the step increment and so forth at that. Now, that should be, I've got it like that. I'm just going to paste that there. So we've got the max value 10, we've got the model value as 0, and we've got the step increment as a 5. All right, I like that. I'm just going to copy that one again, because I feel like we do that again. Max value, model value, step increment 15. So the idea of this one is we're testing that ceiling. Ooh, this one's a fancy one. All right, so we're going to put the fancy one like this. We're going to have the max value as number.maxSafe integer. We're going to have the model value as number.maxSafe integer minus 1. As you can tell, a lot of these tests are me trying to break something. I'm really thinking outside the box with these particular tests. That's why you got a couple of really random ones like this one in here. That one's also going to be the exact same, but we've got the step increment as a 10 instead, so it's meant to go well past it. Now, the theory here is to make sure we don't go, cause a problem. So, yeah. Oop. Just spilling. Sorry about that. All right, this one is, we've got the step increment as a -1. So we're just gonna paste this one in. We don't need that. Oh, how did we set this up? All right, model value, that one can just be a 0, and then we've got that as a -1. We don't need that anymore. Easy done. And model value is going to be a -10. Oops, sorry, I was meant to delete that one. So, counters increase. All right, cool. So it's going from, yeah, all right. Reading up on accessibility notes for input type number, and the recommendations are actually use type equals text, input no is numeric instead. Oh, ensures maximum support and opens the numeric keyboard on mobile devices. Could you send me that link, please? That is something I can quickly do. All right, so this one has model value is a 12, and the step increment is going to be a -2. And then we get rid of that. We've got so many tests with this. This is one of the, yeah, I went mental with writing all these tests. Awesome, thank you. Oops, I did that on the wrong page. There we go. All right. Oh, I like the pack. I like this. All right. All right. Operable, robust. Do not use type equals number. The number is intended for counting integers and includes features we don't want, like stepper scroll functionality that is a nuisance to everyone. Okay, fair enough. Phone, character pins are not integers. Yep, we know that. Older versions of NVDA don't support type number. All right. Yep. Screen readers do not call a type equals number input. All right. Oh, all right. Well, we can change this very, very quickly. Oops, wrong screen. No, right screen. Yeah. That is as simple. Doing that, and then it's input mode. Numeric. Done. Anyway, thank you very much. Hi, Evie. Alright, we're almost finished with this one. I'm just copying this, and then we'll paste that one in. Step increment. Model value, min value. Alright, oops. Model value is -15, and then we've got the validation rules, and then that will be the min value will be -10. Got to import that. That's easy done. Done. And then I get rid of this. All right, how are we with our tests? Okay, not a problem. All right, oh, I need to fix those first two ones. But we're getting there. All right. Another page recommendation. Input type equals text. Input pattern. Oh. All right. This one, oh yeah, you've got the star. Sorry, I didn't read the little. I didn't see the little star. Asterisks, I should say. Cool, easy. All right, I did copy that. We're just gonna override this. Once again, we can get rid of all of this. This is just the basic one. This will have model being a -9, and then validation rules being we need the min value of -10. Easy done. Slowly getting through all of this. All right. model value, -10. Then that validation rules. Oops. Min value is -10. Alright, sorry Socks, your tail is in the way. Why? The Government UK Design System team changed the input type for numbers. Oh wow, that was 6 years ago. That's... Yep, 6 years ago. What a fun year. I just... no, I wasn't streaming then. I had not started streaming yet. To provide users Socks, why do you... come here. Come on, shoulder. There we go. Alright, to provide users with a good service, government organizations usually need to collect data, lots of data, teams publish patterns, alright, yep. Alright, import type text, import numeric pattern. Alright, I'm happy to accept that. I'm happy to keep those changes. Yeah, thank you very much. Hi, Evie. Alright, let's get back into... Oops, I wanted this one. We're getting there slowly. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, God. Alright. But to be fair, this is a lot quicker than if I had to rewrite all of these tests. Alright, so model value is going to be 0 for this particular test. We've got the minimum value as that, and we will have the step increment as 5. I'm just cheating with the mouse here. Am I making something like Git? Not quite. NearBeach is an open source project management, so think your Kanban boards, your Jiras, and so forth like that. Alright, Socks, what's the matter? Why are you pacing? Come here. Come on. Alright, so the minimum value is -10. That's great. The model value is going to be 0, so we just need to change that for this step. And the step increment is going to be 15. Done. Easy done. Let's 8. We just do that. We do that. So the min value is going to be the negative of the number dot max safe integer. And then the model value is going to be the number dot max safe integer plus 1. And we've got a step increment of a 1. Alright, we're going to delete all of that. There I go. Almost getting there. I guarantee it, when I get all this done, I would have screwed up somewhere. Alright, min value is going to be the negative number dot max safe integer. Easy done. That will be the number dot max safe integer plus 1. And we've got a step increment of 10. 5, 7. Alright, cool. And then we want to do model value is going to be 0. Step increment is going to be -1. Alright, that's just testing for silliness. I think this is also another silliness one. Oh, alright, no, that's a non-silly one. All right, model value is going to be 12. Step increment is going to be a -2. We don't have any validation rules. Sorry about that. Max value. It's actually going to be a 10. The model value is going to be a 10. Oh, 15, sorry. Yep, alright. So the idea with this one is it knocks it from 15 all the way down to 10, even though it's an increment of 1. It's just the edge case, one of those weird edge cases. Alright, cool. We're now down to this level of detail where we are manually entering the numbers. What I'm going to do... Got the number picker, we've got the validation rules. We want to have the max value being 10. We're going to get rid of that. Easy done. I'm going to get rid of that one. Once again, validation rules. We'll have the min value being -10. We'll have 7 to 8. Oh my god, so many tests. My value is 100. And all right. Now I'm going to stop that. I'm going to rerun the tests. All right. We have failed a couple. That's fine. Now, ooh, let's open up. Oh, shoot. It opened up on another page. All right. Give me a couple of seconds. Sorry. I'm just actually, give me even one more second. I'm actually going to bookmark that page. Cool. Yeah. I think that's going to be a really great resource. All right. Let's start this again. Let's... Oh, I did it again. All right, get back down here. Cool. There we go. We don't have that many failing, which is great. They're mostly in here with the manually importing. Yeah, I can fix those two very, very quickly. Because expected that to include number picker. All right. That's just me going all the way up to the top. Yeah, I've done this wrong. What I've got to actually do... const label equals wrapper dot find. We want to find a label, easy done, and then we want to expect label dot element dot text content. We're trimming the text content just in case to be, and we're going to go hello world. And that's pretty much it. And then what we do is we grab all those three, we place them down here. We grab this one, we do this one like this. Now, down here, it's going to be number picker. I've created replacement HTML elements before, and the accessibility stuff is important to keep in mind. Yeah, definitely. We do actually have it on our Kanban board. Give me a couple of seconds. Sorry, I've actually got to do this on a different screen because I have customer details I don't want to show anyone. So this is NearBeach. We're using NearBeach to build NearBeach. As you can see, I'm starting to construct all of these little components. These are the higher components that we actually currently need. So we've got the select. Actually, give me 2 secs. I can now move these curve positions. We've got the select where we've done the validation. We now need to move that into accessibility. And all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've got all of these sorts of checks that I'm doing. We can also move. We can't move the date time picker. The multi-select we haven't done yet. Implement UIDs yet. We've got to do that too. Check all elements of constraint validation. All right. Yep, that's something I've got to do. Where did I put the number picker? Input for
there it is.
So I'm moving that over there. Do you not use AI agents to help? I can program. Also, I want to program. Also, a lot of times they make a lot of mistakes, and it just drives me nuts. All right. So this one will be a not to be. Not a to be. Alright, so I'm just going to rerun all of that. We're just going to bump this over here. We're going to drag that view down here. We're going to be like that. So all of those have been fixed, which is great news for us. I can just rerun it from here. I don't know why I'm doing it the hard way. So we've got some failing.
And this is manually entering the value past
The max value should update to the max value. That's no longer happening. So if I go into here, I can go -15. I think that rule, when I was thinking of doing it, yeah, I've changed my mind. So we just find the rule. We're going to change this rule. Manually entering the value past the max value should show a validation error. All right, there we go. Just changing that rule, that test slightly. So it picks out the number picker. It mutates it to 15. We're all happy. And then we're actually expecting something to appear on the page. So if we type in 15, we're expecting this error to appear. So that's part of that class. So render error message will appear. You do some support for indie game developers and digging them out under AI slot code as always. Yeah. I like to program. Hence I program. I like to think. I want to figure out problems. So yeah. Fair enough. They have improved though, especially if you can program. You can prompt quickly generate 5 bulls for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So I'm using Ubuntu, just plain old vanilla Ubuntu. I used distro hop 15 years ago, no longer anymore. And as for the IDE, I use JetBrains. However, I have an open source license for it. So I get JetBrains for free for NearBeach and only for developing NearBeach and any open source sort of projects. And what am I building? I'm building Welk at the moment, but Welk will be used in NearBeach. NearBeach is the main sort of focus. It's an open source project management system. Think like your Jiras, your Kanbans, and so forth like that. So yeah, we're just building out the components because we're currently going through a massive refactor. I want to roll our own sort of components. We're also ripping out a lot of technical debt, and yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind it when it works. There are things I do not like in JetBrains, which I think they've dropped the ball recently with some things. So yeah. Depends. I'm not always the best person to ask, but I can give it a shot. All right, so we've just keyed something in. Sorry, I just lost our test that we were testing. Give me a couple of seconds. It's now passing. All right, we're doing this one. We're waiting to key the thing in. We haven't actually done what we wanted. What I want to do is I want to find this class in here. I'm just going to copy that like that. Get error message. So what we want to do is we want to go const error message equals wrapper dot find, and because it's a class, we do a dot and then followed up by that, and then we do expect error message dot length. Is it length dot count? Oh yeah, we're finding one element. I'm not going to get it to find more. It should only have just one element in there. I'm just going to do that. I'm just wondering if I need to check. I think just checking to see if this is appearing is all I need to do. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of being like, oh, it's got to fill it out exactly like this and so forth like that. I use JetBrains when working at Apple, and it was a bit of a pain when coding in Scala, though Scala itself is partly to blame with its crazy library / versioning system. Oh, fair enough. I have not used Scala before. So, yeah. Merm stack developer and had 1.3 years experience in service-based company in AI era, maximum place laid off happening. How can I survive the industry? That is a good question. I don't have an answer for that. A lot of times when technology replaces stuff, and this has happened a lot. So, for example, ATMs replaced a lot of bank teller jobs and so forth like that. So you used to have like a lot of people behind a thing. There'll be like a bunch of little people. Sorry, I'm terrible at drawing. This is a bank. All right, cool. These are people. You got to use your imagination on the highest setting possible. Bank tellers still exist, but a lot of the jobs that the ATM brought in... Sorry, a lot of the jobs that the ATM sort of replaced, it also created jobs around in tech, maintenance, I can't spell, that's maintenance, Alright, my point being is a lot of those jobs sort of migrated when the tech was sort of implemented and stuff like that. Now, I don't know where these jobs are going to migrate and so forth like that. I know we still need skills around actually double checking what the code output is because it's not perfect at all. Whether or not a lot of the jobs move into security. I am very slow at doing this. Or some other unknown work. I don't know. ATM security guard. Oh, I meant with like AI, replacing some coding jobs. I doubt it. Someone will still need to review the code. Someone will. There's lots of issues around it and stuff like that. There might be security might become a big thing. So yeah, but I don't know. It's interesting to see it happen, but yeah, I just don't know. Where am I from? Melbourne. Heard some people lost jobs. AI are getting jobs fixing AI slop, and hopefully they're getting paid more. So yeah, hopefully they are getting paid more. All right, so manually entering the value past the max value should show the validation error. Cool. We should do that for that one. Remove all values. All right, we're getting rid of that test. Manual user tries. All right, we're getting rid of those two tests. So we're going to grab this. We're just going to paste it over this, and essentially we just need this in here, and we're just going to paste that in like that. This and this. I like that. All right, cool. Let's just rerun all the tests. They all passed. All right, awesome. So everything's passed. I'm happy with that. And for the moment, I'm not going to worry about how it exactly looks. I'm going to worry about doing the coloring on the weekend. However, I've noticed that this minimum value has not disappeared. You want to visit there once in my life. I'm from. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, that's nice here. I highly recommend visiting. So yeah. All right. I've forgotten to put in the validation check in here and stuff like that. That's it. Those are the lines that I need. There we go. So when this compiles, I'm just going to refresh. I need to. All right. Give me 2 secs. npm run dev. Let's go in here. Let's make this a -5. All right. Cool. There you go. Perfect. Mitchell Starch. Alright. I am not very good with celebrities or anything like that. Ah, he's a cricketer. Alright. Holy hell, he's younger than me. But not by much. Yeah, my brother is the cricket fan. I just can't stand cricket. No offense to people who watch it or anything like that. It's just... It's not my cup of tea. Yes, from what I heard, they're getting paid more. Oh, that's good. Kind of insane that attempting to replace programmers with AI is good. Yep. Yeah, it is funny. It is quite funny. He's a creep. Yeah. Alright, so I'm happy with this. And then what I'm going to do... Alright, git add. Yeah, we technically only touched. Yeah, all right, cool. All right, git commit. What did we do? We did some stuff in the select. So fix welk select and welk number input for issues failing inside unit tests. And what else did we do? We fixed the validation issues within the rules. All right, cool. So I'm going to push that. We have just hit an ad break on Twitch. Now, I'm going to actually try and deploy this now, but the thing is, I can't actually deploy it from this laptop, this computer, because I don't have a YubiKey or anything like that, and it wants like second authentication and all that kind of fun stuff. So I'm going to quickly grab my laptop, and we're going to quickly deploy it, and so forth like that. I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, yeah. Gotta not step on socks. She will not like that at all. Okay. Yeah, it's nice to meet you too. So yeah. All right. Chair looks horrible. I used to have a wooden chair that I've had since I was 16, so many decades ago. It started getting really wobbly, and it also sounded very sus on stream. My partner is fixing up that chair for me. Though, I don't like... See, I don't mind this chair. It's just metal. It is very creaky, and I'm very concerned. Because I've broken many chairs. Office chairs, I absolutely hate. The ones on wheels that go everywhere, I absolutely hate those. There's been so many times I have broken them. So I'm like talking about these sorts of chairs. It doesn't matter how fancy it is. They're usually rated up to 100 kilograms, and I am just quite heavier than that. And there's been times where I've been sitting on them, and there's a loud twang noise, and I've just been thrown backwards. Yeah. I do not like them. And I used to have one when I was living here for a short stint. Heard the twang and I nearly went through a window. And I was like, at that particular point, I'm like, no, I'm getting my stool back. So, yeah, I need to actually get the big man chairs. So at my last workplace, it actually happened. And this is before I got hit by the car, so my shoulder was perfectly fine and stuff like that. So I didn't sustain any injury whatsoever. I was there, I was literally talking to my coworker, and we both heard the twang, and I was just thrown backwards onto cement, which can't do now because it will hurt like hell for me. Well, not now, but a year ago it would have hurt like hell for me. They ended up ordering me something similar to this, but rated up to like 150 kilograms and so forth like that. Because I ended up just going into the kitchen and nicking one of the wooden chairs. So, yeah. Alright, I'm just going to pull the code onto my local. Now, I realize I also have
the new color scheme kind of in there. Oh, that's fine. Hopefully tree shaking will get rid of it. Now I want to do npm run build. Alright, I gotta do that again because I forgot to up the version. Oh. Model password is red, but never... Alright, so we've got a couple of errors that I've got to fix. So if I go npm run build, this will build everything for us. For starters, this is an issue. Let's fix this up. Well. We want in projects. There it is there. This is part of the local app. Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is fine. We'll just get rid of those. I'm not too worried about the local app whatsoever. This is just my playground until I figure out how I'm going to sort of do a documentation and a testing site in one. Yeah. I don't really get it to do much code, if that makes sense. There are times I will use it, but I use it more towards as a search engine. Have I used, yeah, so I used Claude for work, mainly because I got asked to see how good it is at writing unit tests for something we were wanting to test and stuff like that and so forth like that. It did a fairly okay job. I did end up having to fix some things with it. Yeah. But once again, I don't get it to write out large amounts of code. It'll probably be small little snippets. I'm using it more as a search engine than actually something to write. I might throw an idea at it and so forth like that, but yeah, at the end of the day, I'm not getting it to write everything for me. Now, I did write this blog post on the weekend. I'm terrible at writing, so I do apologize if it reads really terribly and so forth like that. But yeah, those are my current thoughts on it. I can see there is some use to it, but at the same time, you got to be careful. It's a double-edged sword. All right, so I'm just going to go back into here. It's referencing this, but it's not being used, which is fine. We just get rid of it. No biggie. As a test at some point, ask Claude to make something for you, code it, and see what you think versus last time you have tried. Potentially when a new version does come out. All right, that one's not there. All right, we don't need the required rule here anymore. All right, I'm going to try the build again. So we just need to get rid of these two that aren't being used. Easy done. All right, cool. Removing, I should say code cleanup, removing unused parts of the code. For, well, select plus the local app. All right, easy done. It can vary day to day or based on the quality of the prompts, of course. I find anyway. Yes, I'm coding in TypeScript. So yeah. All right, I'm going to git pull this. I'm going to go npm run build. npm publish. It's assuming I'm still logged in. No, I'm not. npm login. Does a little finger thing. I like that. Use security key. Come on. Yeah. All right. Now npm publish again. Using AI to write code as a beginner is bad since the users have no idea what's good or bad yet. It can be useful for mid-level programmers, but then at high-level programs, AI becomes, yes, useful again. They're doing more complicated, secure stuff. Yeah. So I was going to add on to that, but I think you hit the nail on the head. I do want to bring up something that... No, actually, no, I don't think that's relevant. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I was going to use a back in my day story, but no, it's not really too relevant. Oh, this is really annoying. Has my... Oh, don't you dare say my trackpad just died. Oh no, it hasn't died. Has Firefox crashed? It's not saying it's crashed. Oh, that's really annoying. Sorry, I can't click anything on Firefox. All right, go to Firefox. It's essentially crashed. I find all the bugs. I gotta open up Firefox. I had tabs open that I was gonna read later. Alright. Good news is it reopened up everything. Use security key. I think hopefully that will work. It is done. It's verifying. Authentication successful. And it should have updated well. And best news is all my tabs reopened, so I'm happy. Okay, I'm going to put that one over there. We're just going to double confirm that. Oops, reactivate. Sorry, there was a collision detected. I should ask them if I could get 2 licenses, one for my laptop and one for this, because that actually, yeah. I actually don't have a preferred language to code in. I know a couple. So I used to use a lot of PHP with WordPress and Laravel. That's been a long time ago now. Now that I think about it, it was like 5 years, 5-6 years ago, even 7 years ago. I do a lot of .NET at work, so using like Embraco as a CMS or pure .NET. I use a lot of Python. I use a lot of, if we're talking frameworks, a lot of Vue. I've done React before. and so forth. That you miss coding in Delphi. I've never actually got to touch Delphi, so yeah. I usually don't hate languages, programming languages. Usually, I don't like the foundation that that does them. So but that's not a fair thing to judge a language on. So yeah. All right. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was going to look up Welk. All right. I really need to start working on this. Because yeah, this is yeah, I've really got to start putting in a roadmap and so forth like that for this. I just got to double check that. Yep, that's our latest version 2 minutes ago. It is done. Let's jump into NearBeach. I can actually close this now. We're going to exit. We're going to go PyCharm. Miscoding in BASIC. I remember coding in QBasic back in high school. Delphi was Borderland back then. It's basically halfway between Visual Basic and C++, but based in Pascal. Ah. Okay. Yeah, I just never used it. I've clicked on the wrong Delphi, haven't I? Yeah, I've clicked on the wrong Delphi. Object editor provides mobile web console software currently still maintained. Freemium, all right. But good and bad. The backwards capability, but impressive. I want to say 100% is impressive. Okay. Alright. I used Basic A, the one that came with MS stuff. Fair enough. Yeah, we had QBasic on the school computers. This is going back a long time ago. And there used to be this game on it where you essentially had... it was like a 2D cityscape, and you threw bananas at each other, kind of like Worms, Armageddon, but very basic. All right, so we got that. We're now opening up this. I'm going to close all tabs, and we are going to open up package.json, wherever it is. There it is. Now in here we've got Welk. We're like going, no, we want that version of Welk now. I'm just going to bump over to my terminal. I am going to just go straight into NearBeach. We're going to do that. We're going to do git pull just to make sure. Oh, what do I have? Yeah, all right. Alright, we'll git push. That'll tell me that there's nothing out there. Alright, cool. I'm happy with that. npm install. Excuse me. Wow, that's taking a while. That's my internet connection. Healthy, apparently. Yeah, very healthy, apparently. Doing 4,000 kilobytes per second, up. Ooh, alright. Now, I have a feeling I might need to push a 0.31 release tonight. Also, if we're getting this many... Yeah, npm audit for details. Let's have a look. Alright. Something happened. Alright, let's npm audit fix. Show me potato salad. Yeah, that's taking forever. Alright. Update package lock file to fix security issues. Alright, cool. We'll push that straight into code. npm run dev, and I've set up everything so we can run this here. Oh, so nice that I can actually run it like that, and then we can go localhost, not localhosty, localhost, and I believe. Oh, the requested module, static node vit deps welk, doesn't provide an export named password. All right. So, I've broken NearBeach because I think I did this on the weekend. On the weekend, I was like, no, I'm going to rename all of these components. I do not like them being so generic like that. I need to have welk out the front to be like, this is a welk component. We're going to have to fix that up very, very quickly. That's fine. I knew I was going to break NearBeach. So we want to go into NearBeach. We want to go, into source. We want to go, I think, pages. Let's open up the login app. We've got the login app. Here is our login app. We've got the router view, and the component is going to be component. All right, cool. That's perfectly fine. We don't have any of the components there. We want to close that. Components, we want to open up the login, and this is broken up into a couple of different things. We've got the login page, which, I'm so used to. So we've got the login panel, which we've got to go into. And then up here, we've got button component, password component, text input, and all that kind of fun stuff that we are no longer utilizing. It will be the welk button. Oops. The welk password input. And the welk text input. Easy done. So down here in our components, that will be the welk text input. That will be the username. This will be delete before, and that will be the welk password input. And then down here, this will be the whoops, the welk button. So yeah, I didn't like button component. I didn't like that. I didn't like the consistency around that. And I was like, I'm going to strip a lot of that out and just have it as welk button, welk password, and so forth like that. Hell, I might change that just to welk password, but the input is the verb. It does tell me what it's doing. And that should be that. If I hit refresh, we don't have something called a button component. So, and the good news is we're not fixing this on too many places. Famous last words as I just look it all up. Yeah, it should be welk button Oh, sorry. Like that. We'll go in here and go whelk button. We can change that at the same time. Whelk, that was text input, if my memory serves me correctly. And then we go whelk button. Whelk button. Button and text. So whelk button and whelk text input. Whelk button. So yeah, we're just quickly doing this. Whelk button and whelk password input. Yep. And that will be whelk button. Whelk button. I think this is just going to be whelk card. Yeah, oops. I'll find that error in a minute. It's in this file. Whelk card. Doesn't matter. If I hit refresh, there we go. That's it. We're just renaming a bunch of stuff. And it won't take too long to do. Famous last words. We'll also need to update the validation for this because I implemented a new way that we're doing the validation. Yeah, so that can be something we can implement very, very quickly. I remember that photo. That's in Fiji. Many, many years ago. That's... when did it go? 2019. Oh God, 7 years ago. A lot younger me. I was energetic. I was happy. Long time ago. Alright. So, still need to go through the validation process. So we're going to jump back onto the login page. We're going to scroll down. We've got the login page. We've got the login panel. So I'm going to go into the login panel. We've got the translation stuff up here. Awesome. All right. Because we're doing the validation absolutely, completely, and utterly different now, we will actually have errors underneath the text boxes. So, yeah. All right. Forgotten password. Those are just all what's on the page. We translated that into Japanese. Yay. We've got the emit defaults. We've got the sign in. All right, cool. We've got the button. All right. Yep. And we've got the models. Yep. On mounted, get user input, focus. All right, yep, that's basic sort of stuff. We've got the sign in, prevent default, and we've got the sign in. Cool, basic sort of stuff. I'm going to get rid of error message. No, I don't want to get rid of error message, sorry, because if, for example, you type in the wrong username and password and stuff like that, credentials have failed. That's why we want it there. All right, easy done. I might get rid of, if you hit sign in, please fill out all the fields. Actually, no, I'll keep it in and then I can... Yeah, sorry, I'm realizing I'm getting a lot of yellow text, but we're going to fix that. All right. So I'm having a think about this. And we do have an ad break coming up.
Will this form act slightly different compared to everything else in NearBeach? So we still do want that little error popping up at the top. I think having two fields where if you miss one, it does state, hey, you got to fill out both of them. I think that's okay for this case, but what we're doing everywhere else is we're doing the validation on the field itself. Yes. All right. I'm just going to minimize that. I need to see the whole screen. We've got the error message. Oh, we just started the ad break, just as I thought out all of that. So, I might do both. I might have both errors. Actually, no. All right, if someone doesn't fill out the thing, I'm going to have the two errors appear in the correct field and all that kind of fun stuff. I think that's what we're going to do. And we're going to add the validation in like that. Then when someone clicks the button, yeah, we just did the validation and yeah. I think that's the best solution to this. So we're doing a little bit of tweaking with this, but I'm pretty sure we can get the login page and that whole thing out tonight. And then it's just the new project. And then we can start on the project information page again. I do need to get the tabs done. Shoot. Forgot to do the tabs. I can do the tabs on the weekend. That's fine. I just need to make them look nice. So yeah. All right, welcome back everyone. All right. So I have decided that I'm going to put the error, when it's like this, I'm not going to have that error. I'm going to actually have these to fill out here. That's going to be very specific for those particular fields. I do like if something fails, credentials have failed, that will appear there. And any other errors. So for example, if all of a sudden the server goes out, network error. That way the user's like, what the hell? They're not like that. They oops, stop and rerun. It'll be easy to do this. So what I want to do, login panel, we've got all this on mounted. We're all happy with all that. We want the sign in, prevent default. Yep, that's going to emit the sign in up to here. Oh yeah, sorry, I was sign in. So if username value equals none, password equals none, error message dot value. We're not going to bother with that error message. We're going to get rid of that. We're just going to exit. So you're saying keep both in? Because I'm happy keeping both in. So that's work for me. All right. So in here we got that. Required doesn't exist anymore. What we need to do is we need to lint this. We need validation rules equals, and this has to be that. And sorry, I'm a bit of a stickler with putting things in order. And then we need required. That will be imported from Welk. Oh. I just realized I might not be exporting the validate. I might have done the validation wrong in the sense that I'm not exporting it. Damn it. No, it's going to be that. There's a reason why I'm putting it on a separate line. Oh, and it'll be... Huh. All right, we'll run with that. We'll run with that. All right, I have done something really, really silly. All right, I'm going to put welk over there. All right, cool. What am I doing? I don't know. I'm just going to git pull the latest code. All right, already up to date. Great. I'm going to zoom. You guys can see that. So, I'm just going to minimize everything. I'm going to close all tabs, and I'm going to show you how I've got it set up for each component. For each component, I've got exports like this. So if we go with the component style type of thing, we go into the component. Let's actually do a button. If we open up the button, we've got an index in there. We're doing it like that. And then we go like that. And then we go like that. All right. So there's a hierarchy how we're exporting everything. Not every single component is being exported. The reason for that is you might have child components which are only going to be for that component and not anything else, so we're not exporting those. Only the parent object. And then we do a bunch of this and so forth like that. Now, we do it also for the utils. Which are all the enums and stuff like that, but I never did it for the rules. Yay! I don't need it at this level. I can use this index. And then we also have utils, which have the enums, which is all great. Do I have utils? Yeah, I'm exporting the utils. All right, cool. So yeah, I've forgotten that one little tiny line. All right, that means I've got to do another push. So let's open up the package log. Let's actually update that to 15. Let's go git status, git add, git commit. Actually, let's not. Let's go npm run build first. Because I actually want to see it build out, and I can cheat. I'm going to cheat. Let's cheat. So we've got our dist folder. I'm going to go over to this. I'm going to open up node modules. We've got a black hole amount of libraries in here. We've got the welk, we've got the dist. I'm just going to replace what's in that dist. That's all I'm going to do.
All right. I'm just going to go dum. Saves me having to repush. And then if there's anything that has failed, it means I just got it there. All right. So if I get rid of that. Done. All right, so that will work. I'm going to go get, should, in theory, work. Let's continue testing. Let's get the validation. Let's put it over here. Min length is that, placeholder, type password. All right, cool. The classes are compact. We're all happy with all of that. Let's go back over here. Let's hit refresh. The requested module localhost node vite deps welk doesn't provide an exported name required. All right, so that didn't work. What frameworks are you using? I'm using VueJS. So yeah.
So that didn't quite work how I wanted it to, which is upsetting. But oh, right, we're going. It's getting late. Past my bedtime soon.
We are exporting some stuff in here. Yeah, alright, so the clear cons, max number, message string, validation rules interface. So there it is, kind of there. So we've got max length. But do we have required? We do have required. And it might be the case that I just gotta stop it like that and then rerun it like that. No, I didn't like it. Let's scroll back up. I mean, it's found it like that. But yeah, it says it doesn't exist. This is... Alright, let's go back over here. Let's set this up properly then. So, I'm going to delete the dist. You can tell it's getting late because all of a sudden I can't find the delete. There it is. We've got the validations. I'm going to put the index rule in here. And thank you very much for the follow, Fornax. Welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. And very similar to like the enums. We're going to go export everything from... And we're going to go rules.ts, like that. And then with the index, we're just going to do something like that. Yeah, good day, how are you going?
Now, another thing is, under the validation, we do have rules. We've got them all shoved into one thing. In reality, I should be splitting this out. And having each rule sort of separate. Something quickly I can do. You're doing great. Oh, that's good to hear. Oh, I can't complain. I'm just getting a bit tired. We're in the last half an hour of the stream, though. So, yeah. And then it's my weekend. Alright. So... Alright, because... we are exporting consts and stuff like that. I'm going to have a look at the object state tn. So let's type export, and we're doing an export like that. All right, but those are types. Oh wait, those are enums, not types. My bad. Those are types. Composables. Those we're not really exporting. So if I go back into the rules, export const required. All right, yep. Yeah, in reality, I should be putting these in their own little files. It's okay if we have a dozen files in here. Alright, I'm just going to go npm run build again. So we've got our dist. I'm just going to copy our dist. We're going to go back over here. We're just going to right hand click and paste into that dist. We're going to, yeah, that's fine. Override for all. And then we've got this one, define component, all that kind of fun stuff. We should have required in here. All right, maximum value. Oh. Alright, that might be in here. We've got the required in here. Message string, validation rule interface. Where declare type, validation rule is alright, cool. Okay. Big yawn. Alright. Login page. Yeah, it keeps bouncing it back to that. But that doesn't like it. And if I rerun everything. Alright. Just trying to think here. Alright. I'm going to separate everything out into its own component file and all that. Sorry, not component file. Its own file. So each of these rules will get their own rule file. Yeah, that's going to be my first thing. So I want another directory called rules. And inside rules, I'm going to have an index.ts. Easy done. We'll add on this. In there, we also want to create another file, and that's going to be called required.ts. Cool. I will fill all of this out in a second. I'm I'm just going to cut that from there. We're just going to paste it in. I'm going to put validation rules and then required.ts up the top. We need to import. This will be the validation rules interface from the types and the required rule. And then we're exporting a const required. That's, I do believe, just makes it a function in the new sort of types. All right, cool. Yep. Hopefully that will work. Cool. If we make a new, once again, new file, we'll have min length.ts. Ooh, now we should be consistent with how we're actually running our TS files and so forth like that. We are doing stuff like that. All right. So I want consistency. This will be min length.ts. Gonna add that in. We're going to yank this once again, just copy it in, just paste it in. We're just going to one. We're just going to go validation. We're just going to write in rules and then min length.ts. We're just going to import those. I'm going to. Oh, it's not letting me do that very quickly. All right, cool. I'm just going to go import, and then it's just going to be minimum length and validation rules interface. Easy done. Because this is good, it means few things to remember. Yeah. And it also makes you faster, because then you don't need to decide on things and stuff like that, and you're like, all right, cool, I'm doing this because it's like this. You just move on. Min value.ts. Just going to cut this out over there. I'm just going to paste this over here. Oh, that one inserted the required stuff automatically. Validation rules min value.ts. Maximum length has been imported for no apparent reason. That's incorrect. What the fuck? Yep. The AI is going a bit rogue there. Trying to be helpful, and it yeah, mucked up. We've got our max length, if I could spell. Gonna add that in. I'm just gonna go validation rules, max length, yes. All right, cool. We're going to grab this. We're gonna copy this. We're just gonna go like this. We're gonna paste this in, and then we're gonna go 3. And then we're just gonna go import. I can't type. Import, and then we've got maximum length, and then validation rules interface. Cool. Max value. Sounds like a supermarket. Validation rules max value.ts. Easy done. We're just going to do a couple of lines like that. We're just going to cut this out from over here. And we're just going to paste it in like so. We're just going to do something like that. We're just going to go, and it actually inserted the wrong thing again. It's trying, all right? I will give it that. And then we need pattern, validation, rules, and then pattern.ts. We'll just do that. This one should be quick. whoops, G line import pattern, and then validation new rules interface. All right, easy done. Then our lucky last email to script. Oh, piss. Add that in. Validation dot rules dot email dot TypeScript. And then we can cut that out. We can then do that. We can go all the way up to the top. We then go import, and that's going to import the email and then validation rules interface. And that's all done. All right, I can delete the rules.ts now. So we have that. So I'm just going to close all tabs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to first look at how another folder does it. So we'll have index. Great. Let's have a look at utils. So if we go under utils, we've got index. Great. So that pulls in enums. If we go into enums, great. We've got something like that. All right. Now, if we were to do this, I would have index here, which should match this, in which case I should get rid of this. Easy done. We're happy with that. And then under rules, we'll add in another index. We already have the index in there. So this is at this level. This is where I've then got to go export everything from. This will be email. Now, I don't know if I've got to do email.typescript. No, I don't, because those object state enums are TypeScript too. And then export everything from. Let's do this in max length. Now it's wanting to do that. Export min length, export everything from, and then max value, it literally just skipped. Wait. I need a new keyboard soon. Export everything from. All right. So all that should be exported. Now my main question is, does that get exported correctly? So if I go into the types, yeah, we're just exporting interface. We're exporting a const here. Yeah. And I'm just wondering, all right, interface doesn't work. Oh, sorry, I was meant to click in this. If we bring this one over, so we've got the object state in type. I just say equal that key did it, and then export all of that. But we are exporting something. I just don't know if that's enough for the package. That's the problem. All right, let's do npm run build again. We have errors this time. So import required from rules. All right. Not only 3 places that we broke. This is perfectly fine. We can fix that up this second. So we've got max value and min value. These are going to be different now. So we're going to import max value from and then we just need to import min value. Like that. Yeah. And that's for the that's for the tests. All right, that's fine. I can just change this. This will be rules and then required.ts. Make sure I do that at the very end. All right. So that should stop breaking things now. All right. Oh, wow. All right. That's kind of cool. Bulk is actually really, really tiny, which is what I want. It's going to get a lot bigger when we implement all the other components and stuff like that. But no, I like how that's that small so far. So we'll use the bundle TypeScript version. The target project appears to be TypeScript, which is newer than the bundle compiled engine. Consider upgrading API extractor. All right, maybe one day. All right. So we should in theory should be able to in here. Give me a couple of secs, sorry. Validation, rules. We do have min length, number message come through. That's like that. Declare that. Validation. All right, cool. I don't think it is exporting. Now that being said, we do have it all the way down here. I'm going to close out the tabs. I'm just going to close that and that. We do have it in here where we are getting stuff from the validation. The validation has the rules. All right, like that. And then you go into the rules and then it has the email and then it's got all of that. So in theory, it should be exporting everything. Export default, install app, objects entry, components for each item. No, component. All right, cool. That's just doing the component stuff. All right, let's just Google this. So Export function, Greek name, string. All right, so we got all that. Do I have to name it? All right. I'm pretty sure we don't. Oops, that's the wrong one. That will be at this level. Be something like that. What are you trying to do, Socks? Say, cause, travel. Yeah, I know. Alright. Min value. Pattern. This has just been explicit now. Like, we're only exporting those things from there. Yeah, so we've got that site scripts, created source file, my functions, entry point, yeah, alright, cool. Source, alright, cool. We've got that already. Configure a v library mode, yeah, all of that, update all of that, yeah. Yeah. I just think it's going to be just that. Let's scroll up. Let's once again just copy these. We'll just go over here. We'll open up the node. Stuff. We'll scroll all the way down. We'll open up the whelk stuff. Open up the dist. We're just going to paste those in. We'll just delete them first. So that's one thing. I just want to delete all that first. I'm going to rebuild it. Yeah, all right. All right, socks in my mouse. Yeah, all right. I'm stumped. But it is 10 o'clock. It is time to sort of stop. I need to stop. I need to eat something. I need to relax. So yeah, it is finally the weekend here. Yeah, I need to sort of get this one fixed. Once it's fixed, I can get the login screen done pretty quickly. That's not hard to do. We've got the email validation in there for the password reset. We've got the required sort of there. It's just moving a few things around. It's not going to be hard. It will be quick and easy. We've got the validation already built in. That's going to be great for us. Yeah. Anyway, let's find someone to rate. Oh, I've just been... All right. If you're like me, you'll probably wake up with a sleep. Yeah. Especially when I'm really, really tired and stuff like that. There's been times where I've been coding something and I'm like, oh, okay, this is how I want to go. Woke up the next morning, I was like, this is terrible. I'm overcomplicating something that's going to be so simple. So, yeah. Anyway, we're going to raid Last Miles. They have stated, drought your fart, stay away. So of course we're going to raid them. So, yeah. Thank you very much for being here on the stream. It has been wonderful. Yeah, we got a lot done. Yeah, I'm hoping to fix this up tomorrow and get probably a few other things done with Welk, and then also with NearBeach too, just because I really need to start getting pretty much Welk out the door. And then most of the NearBeach stuff sort of and so forth like that. Anyway, yeah, let's raid Last Mile. So yeah, thank you. And for those on YouTube, thank you very much for being here. Sadly, you won't be able to follow us with the raid, but yeah, thank you very much for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe.